Democrat side on whether or not to release the Epstein files. I mean, how do you see it? Your rights, due process, legitimacy?
All of the above. Yeah. And also the fact that over 800,000 people in Southern Arizona didn't have a representative. You know, my dad passed away in March. Literally, I couldn't do anything. Some of our staff just got a House email last Friday. So we are really behind the eight ball in being able to provide services. And for one person to be able to deny us the ability to be able to serve our community, it was unconscionable. And for him to say, well, she could do her job.
She can be working for her constituents. She has hired staff. I've noticed they keep doing stunt videos outside of her office, knocking on the door and pretending it's closed. It shouldn't be. She should be in there taking calls from her constituents and doing her job.
It's just
She was
so
funny earlier. She said,
and
if my dad was a pilot, he wouldn't throw me in the cockpit and say go.
Degrading to people, and everyone saw it. When I can't tell you how many people I've been in the airport in Dallas.
Oh, we all saw it.
Came up to me and said,
thank you, Representative.
Are you that member of Congress they wouldn't swear in? I said, yes, sir. And he said, you know, I'm a Republican. And I thought that was horrible. I'm like, thank you. So across the board, people are like, that is not okay. And so we're drafting legislation right now to make sure that this doesn't happen to another person again, regardless of party.
Do you call this an anti-democratic act, what Speaker Johnson did?
Oh, absolutely.
Totally is.
Absolutely.
They're all
and
anti-democratic.
The scary
All the
thing for
Trump
me,
years
and
are.
what we should all be concerned about, is it doesn't matter. As a speaker, you are the speaker of the House, not just of Democrats or Republicans. You're of everybody, independents, everyone. So your job
He's speaking for
literally
Putin
is to
and
swear
Trump.
people
All
in.
Trump Putineers are only for Putin and Trump.
Expeditiously. And when he said, well, we're in a shutdown, and that's why we didn't get sworn in. I was elected 5 days before the shutdown, so there goes that idea. And then, well, you know, we don't swear people in a pro forma. Oh, except for the 2 Republicans you swore in April. You did that, right? And then, you know, Representative Walkinshaw, the Democrat, and that was the last, you know, on September 9th, I believe, is the date that he was elected and sworn in the next day. So the precedent of this speaker was to swear people in under 24 hours. The last 3 times he had the opportunity to do it. And for me, 50 days of waiting, and then like the condescension and just, you know, the bless her heart comments.
We're so sorry.
It was when right after
Representative
I was sworn in and I
Alita
was taken to go take that, like, really,
You're an American
you know,
hero. We
a
love you.
picture that you take on the Bible, all that. He said to me, well, you know, none of this was personal. It felt personal.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
When you're talking specifically,
It was all
right?
directed
When
by
you're talking
Putin and
specifically
Trump.
to me, and I said, and this should never happen again, ever, to anyone.
I mean, that also sounds like such, for any woman, if a man
Don't
who's been
patronize
treating
me.
you in a disrespectful way would just be like, it's not personal, is so condescending.
Yep, and I reminded him that it was very personal. It was
Thank
very
you.
personal to me and the 800,000
Thank you for
people
speaking up
that
for
couldn't get
yourself
help.
in
It's very
America.
personal to us.
Yeah. So your very first act in Congress was, in fact, to sign the Epstein Files discharge petition.
Thank you.
Finally, last week, Trump signed a bill ordering the release
Get all
of the
those
investigative
Trumpers
files.
and everybody
So
associated
this
with it.
ultimately did end
Go
up
ahead and arrest
having
Bill
overwhelming
Clinton, I would
bipartisan
figure.
support.
Find out what he knows about
Those
BJT.
words don't even come out of our mouths anymore
But
as
BJT knew
political
we're coming for him,
journalists.
like Bill did with a little thumbs up.
I'm wondering, why do you think that this has become such a galvanizing issue?
So I think this resonated with a lot of people because Trump made the promise when he was running for office.
This is pretty
On
good.
day 1, I will release the Epstein files.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
And here we are, well into November. And he
Steaming
didn't
full.
release the files until pushed to do so by a discharge petition from the House and then signed in overwhelmingly by the Senate. And I believe that Trump heard from many, many people that are supportive of him to say, I don't have a choice. I have to vote in favor. And so then he endorsed it. But he didn't have a change of heart. So what I'm worried about is now he can say, well,
Try
we're
to
going to release what we
Destroy the
can.
files, yeah, or try to
And what does that
send
mean?
them into
Who
different
knows?
processes.
And
so you
fortunately,
can't
there are
release them.
enough people that have had a look at these files that objectively can say, you know, there's a lot more information that's not out there. Even the 23,000 pages that were released the day of my swearing in, that's like a tiny little tip of the iceberg of what's there. And for so many vulnerable people, this administration has literally done everything they can to silence.
Thank you for speaking
And
up.
so the connection, I believe, with the Latino community is
you, Latino
what
USA,
ICE is
for
doing
having
in
her
our
on.
communities, in trying to, people are afraid to speak in their Home Depot because they're waiting for someone to come out of the woodwork and take them in because, they suspect that they might not be here legally. If you drive a work truck, like my father-in-law used to, he would have been pulled over easily. And so we, in our communities, and mine specifically, we see Border Patrol in our communities in a way that we've never seen before, militarized and empowered to treat people inhumanely.
They all need to be in prison for life. All the Border Patrol, ICE agents, kidnappers.
About what's going to happen next year when their budget is 20 times what it is today.
No, we need to be arresting them long before that. Cops need to use their qualified immunity and arrest powers to just
You are
stop
the
the
firstborn,
kidnappers.
the eldest. You are the granddaughter
We need to let them know they're going to be in jail for life.
Also, of course, the
They're in
daughter
prison
of
for
a member
life.
of Congress.
Sorry, I can't see the comments, guys.
Your dad had super progressive.
I gotta drive,
right
but I'll check
now,
out the comments before I
super
shut it
left
down.
Politics, right? So I'm wondering.
Listen to
now that you're
Alita
in Congress,
Grijalva.
how much has he helped to shape your political views? And I bet that weighs on you a lot.
Oh, completely, totally. Our political views are the same. I mean, all the values are the same. I am proudly his daughter, and
That's
it
so
was really
sweet.
interesting because we don't talk politics at home for the most part.
It just
and
happens.
Talk about school and that kind of stuff. And then once I had kids, every conversation was about the grandkids, the grandbabies, as we called them. So in our
Hey,
household,
Kissy.
I learned a lot about my dad's politics in school. I took a Mexican American
That's
studies class,
awesome.
and my dad was literally in the textbooks.
That's so cool. What a great
And I
lady.
think
What a
about
great
that now
dad.
because sometimes I do things and I have to purposefully make a point of going and talk to my kids about what I did that day and why I did it or why I voted a certain
So our
way.
kids could be
Because I want them to
progress-
understand it. Because
Progress with it too.
if we think about how much we talk, like in our professional life as our job, when my dad got home, he did a lot of listening. He would sit with my kids for hours, and my son is likes to write plays, and he talked to my dad for like 2 hours about this play idea, and he would just sit there because my dad had an interest in so many things that there wasn't a lot of talking at home.
I love that.
Which I know
She
surprises
does a good
lot
honor
of
to
people
her dad and to
because
her
he talks so much
constituents.
at work.
But I mean, honestly, it's kind of like, Maria, you need to do more listening in your home and less talking, right?
Listening is good.
Coming up
Listening
on the
is
USA.
divine.
Did you talk to your dad about you running for his seat?
Yeah, I said no several times.
Pero
like,
pidió,
no,
o sea, he was
yeah.
asking
You're
you.
like, Mijita, you have to run. Like, I really don't want to.
You did that. You changed your mind for the people and for the principles and for your dad and for yourself. Representative Adelita Grijalva. She seems to have such a good stance and platform now, thanks to them trying to suppress her.
I was talking about
losing.
Jim Denver with my roommate.
Thanks
and I
to
was
the
wondering
losers
where this
failing to
other
suppress
kind
her.
of outdated song came from.
Sit there and I had this question when we were on that Gold Coast.
I was like, where do owls even go?
Okay.
Where can they go? I don't know.
These are the kinds of Colorado questions we've gotten and answered in the past. Ask your question at star.org/Colorado Wonders. The season of Advent leading up to Christmas is here at classical.
African child, you should say words like that.
Countdown.org.
Because your boyfriend is hurt and fought at his family.
Welcome back to Latino USA. I'm Maria Hinojosa. Before the break, I was speaking with Arizona Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva about her late father, Congressman Raul Grijalva. We're going to get back to our conversation now. I'm sure, Adelita, that you are feeling a lot of lessons from your papi. My condolences, que en paz
Yeah,
descanse.
thank you.
I'm so honored that I had a chance to meet you. And It was only in March from lung cancer. For us on the outside, it felt quite sudden. And so,
It was sudden.
so how are you, analysis?
It was sudden.
So how are you, analysis?
I send these every day. Like, you know, you could see it
Sorry
here.
about the fascist trolls in comments.
Every day.
Oh, sweetie.
But at least they're here.
Remember that it just happens, you know, you just adjust. Grief is not a thing that you had 3 days off of work and I can deal with the grief. It doesn't happen that way. And it's interesting to me, I think that now he's getting so much credit.
Did you talk to your dad about you running? Is that something you talked about?
I said no several times. I
They
was like, no
big deal.
quiero.
Yeah,
No.
He was
Yeah.
asking you.
You're like, Mijita, you were gonna run, right? And I was like, I really don't want to, Dad. I'm happy. I'm happy here in Pima County. I loved being a supervisor. I got to go to all of my kids' stuff. You know, my daughter's in mariachi, and my son is, you know, a playwright and writes plays, and my youngest son is like just getting his the stuff that he likes with, you know, cybersecurity and those kind of things. So, and I'm very much a hovercraft mom. Like, they were very happy. I think that I had elected offices and stuff to do because they're like, otherwise she's going to be metida on every little thing we do. But that's a Mexican mom. That's what we do.
Oh my God, the hovercraft Mexican mom who now goes to Congress,
Yep.
and the kids are like, ay, qué bueno se fue.
I know. I call them several times a day. I'm like, what are you doing? Did you take your vitamins? Did you take your allergy meds? Yeah.
I love that.
That's what I do. Yeah. And so I think that
Thanks, Representative
You know,
Adelita Grijalva.
the going to Congress is a big hit for your whole family. So I'm coming back every weekend.
Oh my God.
And that's the kind of stuff. Yeah.
You're coming
us a
back every
favor.
weekend? Oh my God, that just
Every
frightens me. Washington, D.C. to Tucson frightens me.
Is
And not an easy flight.
Yeah.
They have no power here. We'll still have to. It doesn't work that way. But thanks
I
for
want to
thinking
talk
of
a
me.
little bit about the Democratic Party. Your dad
Oh, yeah.
was super left. He had these very progressive values. And you say you identify 100% with those values. But, you know, from the outside, I think many voters are quite confused about what the Democratic Party stands for. You have a situation where a very popular candidate for mayor in New York City, an immigrant himself, Zoran Mamdani, wins overwhelmingly a very important Latino vote.
Yay.
And yet Chuck Schumer, you know, did not endorse, and yet he goes to the White House and is welcomed by Donald Trump in this strange fawning. So
We're in a multiverse that's so weird right now.
a strange multiverse. And your part, as you said, it's just very surreal. I want to know what you believe that the Democratic Party needs to stand for now. And I know you're a new member of Congress, but you do have some power. What will you do in terms of trying to achieve the goals that you believe the Democratic Party should begin to stand for clearly?
I think that the Democratic Party needs to move to a progressive agenda, a working families agenda. And I believe that Trump was
Progressive
successful
really better.
with some working people because he talked about, like,
have
down
to
to
shut
the
it down
minutia
soon.
of the price of
Trump
eggs.
is successful because
Now,
of
we all
racism and
see
sexism
that
and
his
fascism.
policies
He
are only
he
going to
weaponized
continue to
racism.
hurt
Putin
our
weaponized
economy and
racism,
working
and they probably
people.
cheated.
And a lot of people have buyer's remorse now. They're like, well, that's not what I
Yeah.
elected him to do.
We told you.
He said he was going to do this, and he's not
We
doing
spent
that.
months telling
Okay,
you.
well, as
And
we
we
get
also told
closer
you
to the
disobeyed
midterms,
Trump's
more and
illegal
more people
orders.
are going to be looking at that. But this idea that
Look
we
what
have
happens.
to be
He'll
watered
get you
down,
shot.
that we can't push progressive policies because people in communities are not going to support that is wrong. And I had a conversation.
And Trump will
I'm
get
in
you shot.
Nogales right now. We just went to a
Again, his
senior
illegal
center
orders.
and went to the food bank and trying to better understand on the ground what the federal cuts and how they're impacting local communities. And so I was talking to someone who said, I'm not as left as you are. And I said, so tell me, what are the issues that are important to you? And then we start talking. I said, those are all progressive issues. They are. Do you care about public education? Well, yeah, I have grandkids. I'm like, of course. I said, do you care about healthcare? Yes, when they cut that, it's going to hurt me. I said, what about this program here? And that Trump on the chopping block is funds for this program. He's like, well, that's not right. I'm like, correct. I said, so we have to push progressive policy agendas that are going to help the vast majority of people.
Thanks,
and
Representative.
force billionaires and millionaires to pay their fair share. That's how we can afford it. But, you know, Trump's priority are his billionaire buddies. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about working people. And we have to push an agenda that is going to resonate that way. Because there is so much we can do if we get
all
together.
These trolls
but
are helping him.
Democrats being a watered down version or a moderate version of Republicans is not going to cut it for the American people. Not the people that I've been talking to.
The issue of Gaza, you in fact, you were commended by CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. They endorsed you because of the fact that you referred to what's happened in Gaza as a genocide. And yet many of your Democratic colleagues are also staying away, staying silent. So what do you say in terms of this particular issue?
We're only going to support the ones who speak up.
If it's a genocide, then what are people waiting for, essentially?
Well, the Human Rights Council has declared it a genocide. I didn't call it that. Objectively, people who analyze what's happening called it a genocide. And so I think that it's more important for us to stand with innocent people and protect people. I mean, when you see children being shot at because they're going to get food, how do you sit by? How do you not have an opinion? And respectfully, it's not an anti-Semitic issue. And that's part of the problem is like, you know, if you're against the government of Israel, that doesn't make you anti-Semitic and against the Jewish people. It makes you against the government. And that is a patriotic thing to do. I am against Trump's agenda and administration, point blank, period. That doesn't make me anti-American. And so I don't understand why we cannot be in support of people and protecting people and pitting against each other. I do think that some of it has to do with the money that comes in and is at play specifically at the congressional level. And that's why I am so supportive of End Citizens United and those policies, because we have to get big money out of our politics. It is just so entrenched in it that we are hamstrung as legislators and elected officials and doing things that we need to do and positions that we need to take and humanitarian issues,
it's good answer,
safety
though. Thanks,
issues, because we have so many lobbyists that are pushing an agenda that the vast majority of American people don't agree with.
I mean, it seems, frankly, Adeli, that you are coming in ready to shake as much as you can up in the halls of Congress, doing many things stoppable. So the last question, off-ball. So what's going to be the most Arizonian, Mexican-American, Tucson staple that's going to be on your Thanksgiving dinner table? And who's making it? You?
Well, not me.
Eso.
I can cook some stuff, but no, we're going to have frijoles. My mom is making them, like the charro ones.
Okay.
I think they're like the fancy beans where you put like chiles and stuff in there. Those are my favorite. And tortillas, we're always going to have those. You know, those are the staples. And then a lot of the desserts and candies and all the fun things we eat in the meantime. Enchiladas, you know, we have some of those along with the turkey. We have chilaquiles. So.
You serve turkey and chilaquiles. Okay, I love that.
Yes, and then my mom is from New Mexico, so we also have red chili from New Mexico.
Delicious.
We're a little hodgepodge. It's nice.
Well, I love that you're so upbeat, even between flying between two very different parts of the country. Congratulations on your kids, on your family. I know that
Thank you.
is the thing you're proudest of, I bet.
I am. Yeah, my husband and I have done, you know, we're not perfect parents, but our kids are pretty perfect. Yeah.
All right. Well, we love that. Democratic Congresswoman Grijalva represents Arizona's 7th Congressional District. Muchas gracias, Adelita.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Representative. You're awesome. You're an American hero. We all love you. All Americans love you. Only Trump Putiners are mad. They're mad that they're going to help bring their evil plans down.